in Visual Studio, Part 2 of 2. Article 10/18/2024. In Part 2 of this tutorial series, you dive a little deeper into the Visual Studio build and debug features you need for daily development. These features include managing multiple projects, debugging, and referencing third-party packages. You run the C# console app you created in Part 1 of this
Ever been
tutorial,
to Jamaica?
and explore
Yeah, I told
some
somebody
features of
from
the Visual
somewhere about
Studio
Bob Marley. He's
integrated
like, oh no,
development
somebody after
environment,
Bob Marley
IDE.
came along was way better.
This tutorial is Part 2 of a
I used to hang
two-part
a Bob
tutorial
Marley
series.
thing right out this window.
In this tutorial, you complete the following tasks. Add a second project, reference libraries and add packages, debug your code, inspect your completed code. Prerequisites. To work through this article, you can use either of these calculator apps. The Calculator console app from Part 1 of this tutorial. The C# calculator app in Thief's tutorial samples repo. To get started, open Thief from the repo. Add another project. Real-world code involves projects working together in a solution. You can add a class library project to your calculator app that provides some calculator functions. In Visual Studio, you use the menu command file add new project to add a new project. You can also right-click on the solution in Solution Explorer to add a project from the context menu. In Solution Explorer, right-click the solution node and choose Add New Project. In the Add a New Project window, type class library in the search box.
It's a bunch of code that nobody understands. One little index document, right?
And then select Next.
No, it says January 29th.
Configure your new project screen. Type the project name calculator library, and then select Next. 4. On the additional information screen, .NET 8.0 is selected.
You know that the train started at 5 o'clock, right?
Visual Studio creates the new project and adds it
It's
to the
5
solution.
o'clock.
5. Rename the class 1.x file to calculator library.cs. To rename the file, you can right-click the name in Solution Explorer and choose Rename, select the name and press F2, or select the name and select again to type.
Play a game
The
of
message
cards.
might ask whether you want to rename all references to
I'm going to give you a
class 1 in
score.
the file. It goes in step. 6. Now add a project
I hear
reference.
that little car out
The first
there.
project can use APIs that the new class
What do you
library
think? How many
exposes.
X's are on there?
Right-click the dependencies node in the calculator.
What do you think those?
Project and
What do you think those names mean
the
to me?
reference manager dialog box
Means
appears.
something, right?
In this dialog box, you can add references to other projects, assemblies,
Doctors
and
know what that
DLLs
is.
that your projects need. 7. In the reference manager dialog box, select the checkbox for the calculator library project, and then select OK. The project reference appears under a projects node in Solution Explorer. 8. In program.cs, select the calculator class and all its code, and press Ctrl+ Qt. Then, in calculator library.cs, paste the code into the calculator library namespace. Also add public before the calculator class to expose it outside the library. Calculator library.x would now resemble the following code. See #/ calculator library.x name space calculator library public class calculator public static double do operation double num1 double num2 string double result equals double .nan / default value is not a number if an operation, such as division, could result in an error / use a switch statement to do the math. Switch op case a result equals number 1 plus number 2 break case s result equals number 1 number 2 break case m result equals number 1 asterisk number 2 break case d : / ask the user to enter a non-zero divisor. If number 2 equals 0 result equals number 1 / number 2 break / return text for an incorrect option entry. Default break return result 9. Program.x also has a reference, but an error says the calculator.do operation caldo hasn't resolved. The error is because calculator library is in a different namespace. For a fully qualified reference, you could add the calculator library namespace to the calculator.do operation call in program.cs. C# / program.x result equals calculator library.calculator.do operation clean number 1 clean number 2 off, or You could try adding osing directive to the beginning of the program.x file. See #//program.xusing calculator library. Adding the osing directive should let you remove the calculator library namespace from the call side. If your program.x code is in the calculator namespace, rename the namespace from calculator to calculator program to remove ambiguity between class name and namespace name. Reference.NET libraries. Write to a log. You can use the .NET trace class to add a log of all operations, and write it to a text file. The trace class is also useful for basic print debugging techniques. The trace class is
You want to see what it looked like as a diver?
And uses system.io classes like
most I
StreamWriter.
did was a double twister.
Start by adding the osing directives at the top of calculator library. .csc #/calculator library. .xusing system.diagnostics. 2. This usage of the trace class must hold onto a reference for the class, which it associates with the file stream. That requirement means the calculator works better as an object. So add a constructor at the beginning of the calculator class.
What do you think comes next?
Constructor also remove the static keyword to change the static do operation method into a member method. C#//calculator library. Public calculator.
They're not up to instantiation yet.
Do operation should now look like the following code. C# streamwriter log file equals file.create text. Calculator.log. Trace.listeners.add. New text writer trace listener. Log file. Trace.autoflush equals true. Trace.readaline. Starting calculator log. Trace.readaline. String.format. Start at 0. System.datetime.now.toString. Public double do operation. Double number 1.
Double do.
2. String up. /
String up.
calculator library.
Calculator library. No. They're not up to instantiation yet.
Double number 2.
That's when you have a baby. It's an image of yourself.
/ default value is not a number if an operation, such as division, could result in an error. / use a switch statement to do the math. Switch up case A. Result equals number 1 plus
create
number
a duplicate,
2.
right?
Trace.readaline. String.format.
But now we're in trace.
0 plus 1 equals 2.
Who's Trace?
Number 1. Number 2.
I know who
Result.
Tracy was.
Break.
Grandmother.
Result equals number 1. Number 2. Trace.readaline. String.format. 0. 1 equals 2. Number 1. Number 2. Result. Break. Case M. Result equals number 1 asterisk number
Case
2.
M.
Trace.readaline.
See, A-S-K dot
0 asterisk 1 equals 2. Number 1.
You have to take off your
Number
thing
2.
to shave.
Result. Break. Case D. / ask the user to enter a non-zero divisor. If number 2 equals 0. Result equals
I can't
number
hear
1
what he's
/
saying.
number 2. Trace.readaline. String.format. 0 / 1 equals 2. Number 1. Number 2. Result. Break. /
Remember,
return
in
text
engineering,
for incorrect option
when I
entry.
went to school, it
Default.
was 95% boys.
Return result. 4.backwardprogram.cs.
And every time I looked around, I said, nope, I'm going to beat you.
Call. To fix the error, create a calculator variable by adding the following code line just before it while, and F. Loop C #
Sure enough, I beat everybody but one person from my high school.
Calculator equals new calculator.
He was better than me, but I was way cooler than him.
Call side to reference the object named calculator in lowercase.
Way better.
The code is now a member invocation, rather than a call
I used
to
to drive him
method.
there.
C# / program.
Didn't have a car.
Result equals calculator. Do operation. Clean number 1. Clean number 2. Up. 5. Run the app again.
And every day I used to drive around saying, there's no way I'm paying for parking. No way.
In File Explorer.
I used to find a spot on the street
Navigate to the output folder under bin /
and
debug
park for free.
and open calculator.log file. The output should look something like this.
You wonder how much parking costs in the city of Philadelphia near Drexel University?
1:58 and 19 seconds p.m. 1 plus 2 equals 33 asterisk 3 equals 9. Program.cs should look like the following code. Public calculator. Streamwriter log file equals file.create text. Calculator.log. Trace.listeners.add. New text writer trace listener. log file, trace.autoflush equals true, trace.ritalene, starting calculator log, trace.ritalene, string.format, start at 0, system.datetime.now.toString.
Look, it says auto flush the toilet.
Double number 1. Double number 2.
Hey, toilet, auto flush.
Double result equals double.nan. / default value is not a number if an operation, such as division, could result in an error.
You know what nan is, right?
/ use a switch statement to do the math.
That's why there's comments in that code. Some people write code and purposely don't put comments down.
String.format. 0 plus 1 equals 2. Number 1. Number 2. Result. Break.
This is only one piece of code.
Number 1.
You know how many thousands of lines of code there is?
Trace.ritalene. String.format. 0. 1 equals.
I was talking to one guy. He's like, who's your favorite person from Philadelphia? He goes, I don't know. Then I realized he was an engineer from Drexel.
String.format. 0 asterisk 1 equals.
But he was a mechanical engineer, and then he realized what my game was. There's another Lyft driver.
If number 2 equals 0, result equals number 1.
You gotta make friends with people who drive you around because you sit in the back seat like it's a taxi.
0 / 1 equals.
I used to pay real cash money for taxis.
Number 2.
I mean, real money.
/ return text.
You always have to keep cash on hand in an emergency.
Default. Break. Return result. C# / program.cs. Using. Calculator library. Namespace. Calculator program. Class.
Who gets up at 5 in the morning to shave? I haven't put on my Old Spice yet.
Main.
That's next.
String. Art. Rule. And app equals.
Oh, you know, some girls
/
really hate
title as a C# console calculator app.
This one chick, Katie.
Console.ritalene.
She hated
calculator
perfume. Hated it.
Console.ritalene.
And I loved her because she was my coworker.
Calculator.
I'm like, I don't like it either. She's like, Mike, what are you doing today?
Calculator.
But she did normal girl stuff. When she saw I didn't meet eye contact, she did that to cover her thing because she was a good person. She knew that I didn't want to look at them.
To match type of system.
The other ones, nasty. They wanted them to look at them. Especially the other ones. I mean, nasty. That's why they put the nasty people next to the supervisors and they put the good people farthest away.
0. / ask the user to type the first number. Console.write.
It's a longer walk, but you get less trouble.
Number input 1 equals console.read line. Double. Clean number 1 equals.
They wonder who's sitting next to the supervisor other than the secretary.
Double. Dot try parse.
Yeah, it's usually the people who make the most trouble.
Out. Clean number 1. Console.write. This is not valid input.
That's why they keep them in close proximity.
Value. Number input 1 equals console.read line. / ask the user to type the second number. Console.write. Type another number, and then press enter.
I'm about to tell you about CJ.
Console.read line. Double.
CJ, his name was Clarence Johnson.
0.
He treated me so fun. He was just so fun. Even though he was not like me, he was not my color. He tells me one.
Number 2.
I mean, I could tell you story after story after story after story after story.
Integer value. Number input 2 equals console.read line. / ask the user to choose an operator. Console.ritalene. Choose an operator from the following list. Console.ritalene. \top at console.ritalene. \ts subtract. Console.ritalene.
Why would I tell you story after story after story? The computer is telling a story. Validate your code. Op equals null, bar, not reg x. Just try this result. You have an exception handler. EMLA.
/
The whole
validate
thing is
when
written
not
down there,
null
right there
and
for
matches
everyone to
pattern.
do it, but you can't do it. Takes
Op
years to
equals
get it up there.
equals. Null. Regex dot is match. Op. ASMD. Console.Ritalin. Error. Unrecognized input. Else. Try. Result equals calculator dot do operation. Clean number 1. Clean number 2. Op. If. Double. Dot is NaN. Result. Console.Ritalin. This operation will result in a mathematical error \n. Else. Console.Ritalin. Your result 0:0 ##n. Result. Catch. Exception if. Console.Ritalin. Oh no. An exception occurred. Trying to do the math \n. Details. Plus e.message. Console.Ritalin. --\n. / wait for the user to respond before closing. Console.write. Press N and enter to close the app. Or press any other key and enter to continue. If console.readline equals end app equals true. Console.Ritalin \n / friendly line spacing. Return. Add a new get package. Write to a JSON file. To output operations in JSON, a popular and portable format for storing object data, you can reference the Newtonsoft.json NuGet package. NuGet packages are the primary distribution method for .NET class libraries. 1. In Solution Explorer, right-click the dependencies node for the calculator library project, and choose cmanage NuGet packages. The NuGet package manager opens point 2. Search for and select the Newtonsoft.json package, and select install. If you're prompted whether to accept changes, select OK. Visual Studio downloads the package and adds it to the project. A new entry appears in a packages node in Solution Explorer. Add osing directive for Newtonsoft.json at the beginning of calculator library.csc / calculator library.using Newtonsoft.json. 3. Create the JSON writer member object, and replace the calculator constructor with C #/ calculator library.csJSON writer public calculator. Stream writer log file equals file. Create text. Calculator log.json. Log file.auto flush equals true. Writer equals new JSON text writer. Log file. Writer.formatting equals formatting.indented. 4. Modify the do operation method to add the JSON writer code. C# writer.write start object. Writer.write property name. Operations. Writer.write start array. / calculator library.cs public double do operation. Double number 1. Double number 2. String up. Double result equals double.nan. / default value is not a number if an operation, such as division, could result in an error. Writer.write start object. Writer.write property name. Operand 1. Writer.write value. Number 1. Writer.write property name. Operand 2. Writer.write value. Number 2. Writer.write property name. Operation. / use a switch statement to do the math. Switch. Op. Case A. Result equals number 1 plus number 2. Writer.write value. Add. Break. Case S. Result equals number 1. Number 2. Writer.write value. Subtract. Break. Case M. Result equals number 1 asterisk number 2. Writer.write value. Multiply. Break. Case D. / ask the user to enter a non-zero divisor. If number 2 equals 0, result equals number 1 / number 2. Writer.write value. Divide. Break. / return text for an incorrect option entry. Default. Break. Writer.write property name. Result. Writer.write value. Result. Writer.write end object. Return result. 5. Add a method to finish the JSON syntax once the user is done entering operation data. C#//calculator library. Public void finish. Write end array. Write end object. Close. 6. At the end of program.cs. Before their turn, add a call to finish. C #program.cs//add call to close the JSON writer before return calculator.finish. Return. 7. Build and run the app. And after you're done entering a few operations, close the by entering then command point 8. Open the calculator.log.json file in File Explorer. You should see something like the following content: JSON operations, operand 1 2.0, operand 2 3.0, operation : add, result 5.0, operand 1 3.0, operand 2 4.0, operation : multiply, result 12.0. Debug. Set and hit a breakpoint. The Visual Studio Debugger is a powerful tool. The debugger can step through your code to find the exact point where there's a programming mistake. You can then understand what corrections you need to make, and make temporary changes so you can continue running your app. 1. In program.cs, click in the gutter to the left of the following code line. You can also click in the line and select F9, or right-click the line and select breakpoint. Insert breakpoint. C#//program.x result equals calculator.do operation, clean number 1, clean number 2, op. The red dot that appears indicates a breakpoint. You can use breakpoints to pause your app and inspect code. You can set a breakpoint on any executable line. Opcode point 2. Build and run the app. Enter the following values for the calculation. For the first number, enter 8. For the second number, enter 0. For the operator, let's have some fun. Entered. The app suspends where you created the breakpoint, which is indicated by the allow pointer on the left and the highlighted code. The highlighted code hasn't yet executed. The app suspended. You can inspect your application state. Debug. View variables. 1. In the highlighted code, hover over variables such as clean number 1 and dot. The current values for 8 and respectively appear in DataTips. When debugging, checking to see whether variables hold the values you expect is often critical to fixing issues. Point 2. In the lower pane, look at the locals window. If it's closed, select Debug Windows Locals to open it. The locals window shows each variable that's currently in scope, along with its value and type. Point 3. Look at the Autos window. The Autos window is similar to the locals window, but shows the variables immediately preceding and following the current line of code where your app is paused. 7. Note: if you don't see the Autos window, select Debug Windows Autos to open it.
Looks
Next,
easy, right?
execute code in the debugger one statement at a time.
One statement at a time.
Debug. Step through code. 1. Press F11, or select debug step into. Using the step into command, the app executes the current statement and advances to the next executable statement, usually the next line of code. The allow pointer on the left always indicates the current statement.
Whoa, look at that
Step
code.
into the do operation method in the calculator class. Point 2. To get a hierarchical look at your program flow,
Hierarchical.
look at the call stack window.
Call stack.
If it's closed, select Debug Windows Call Stack to open it. This view shows the current calculator.do operation method, indicated by the allow pointer. The second row shows the function that called the method. From main method in program.cs. The call stack window shows the order in which methods and functions are getting called. This window also provides access to many debugger features, such as go to source code, from its shortcut menu. Point 3. Press F10, or select debug step over, several times until the app pauses on the switch statement. C# / calculator library. Switch, op. The step over command is similar to the step into command, except that if the current statement calls a function, the debugger runs the code in the function, and doesn't suspend execution until the function returns. Step over is faster than step into if you're not interested in a particular function. Point 4. Press F10 one more time, so that the app pauses on the following line of code. C#//calculator library.xif. Number 2 equals 0. This code checks for a divide by 0 case. If the app continues, it throws a general exception, an error, but you might want to try something else, like viewing the actual returned value in the console. One option is to use a debugger feature equality by 10 continue to make changes to the code and then continue debugging. However, there's a different trick to temporarily modify the execution flow. Debug. Test a temporary change. 1. Select the yellow pointer, currently paused on thief, number 2, equals 0, statement, and drag it to the following statement. C #//calculator library.x result equals number 1 / number 2. Dragging the pointer here causes the app to completely skip thief statement. C2. Press F10 to execute the line of code. Point 3. If you hover over their salt variable, it shows a value of infinity. In C#, infinity is the result when you divide by 0.4. Press F5, or select debug continue debugging. The infinity symbol appears in the console as the result of the math operation. Point 5. Close the app properly by entering then command. Code complete. Here's the complete code for the calculator library.x file, after you complete all the steps. Break. Case. M. Result equals number 1 * number 2. Write value. Multiply. Break. Case. D. / ask the user to enter a non-zero divisor. If number 2 equals 0. Result equals number 1 / number 2. Write value. Divide. Break. / return text for an incorrect option entry. Default. Break. Write property name. Result. Write value. Result. Write end object. Return. Result. Public. Void. Finish. Write end array. Write end object. Close. While. End app. / declare variables and set to empty. / use nullable types, with, to match type of. System.console.read line. String. Number input 1 equals. String. Number input 2 equals. Double. Result equals. 0. / ask the user to type the first number. Console.write. Type a number, and then press enter. Number input 1 equals console.read line. Double. Clean number 1 equals. 0. While. Double. Try parse, number input 1. Out. Clean number 1. Console.write. This is not valid input. Please enter an integer value. Number input 1 equals console.read line. / ask the user to type the second number. Console.write. Type another number, and then press enter. Number input 2 equals console.read line. Double. Clean number 2 equals. 0. While. Double. Try parse, number input 2. Out. Clean number 2. Console.write. This is not valid input. Please enter an integer value. Number input 2 equals console.read line. / ask the user to choose an operator. Console.write. Choose an operator from the following list. Console.write. \top, add. Console.write. \ts, subtract. Console.write. \tm, multiply. Console.write. \td, divide. Console.write. Your option. String. op equals console.readline. / validate input is not null, and matches the pattern. If op equals null, regex.is match, op, ASMD. Console.readline. Error, unrecognized input. Else. Try. Result equals calculator.do operation, clean number 1, clean number 2. Op. If. Double. Dot is NaN, result. Console.readline. This operation will result in a mathematical error \n. Else. Console.readline. Your result, 0:0 ##n. Result. Catch, exception A. Console.readline. Oh no. An exception occurred. Trying to do the math \n, details. Plus e.message. Console.readline. --\n. / wait for the user to respond before closing. Console.write. Press N and enter to close the app, or press any other key and enter to continue. If console.readline equals n, end app equals true. Console.readline \n / friendly line spacing. Calculator.finish. Return. Next steps. Congratulations on completing this tutorial. To learn more, continue with the following content. Continue with more C# tutorials. Quick start. Create an ASP.NET Core Web App. Learn to debug C# code in Visual Studio. Walk through how to create and run unit tests. Run a C# program. Learn about C# IntelliSense. Continue with the Visual Studio IDE overview. Logging and tracing. Feedback. Was this page helpful? Yes. No. Ask the community. Provide product feedback. Tutorial.